Rock and roll.
Ready? You ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome to the Everything and Nothing Show. I'm just one of your hosts with the most, Clayton Kisco, the man with no fear. He's blind from a chemical explosion and now fights crime.
That's not true.
No?
It's not. It's not the Flash.
Your
It's not
friend,
the Flash.
Flash. That's the Daredevil.
Yeah.
Or Daredevil.
Negative 5
Whatever.
points for you, sir.
Whatever. I don't care.
And with us on this podcast today, we have the remote man, the man with no face. He's too hot to handle. The heartthrob, Rocco Avellino.
Is that robot or remote?
The remote man. Dono Regato, Mr. Avellino.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. Rock
Hi, I am Rocco.
Yes, yes. He's remoting in from Skype.
That's very true.
So
If you guys want to be able to see this beautiful face here, I'm gonna have to keep that away from you all.
How many more weeks do we have with this remote stuff?
We have three more
more
weeks
weeks
left,
and
and then I'm good to go. Yes, sir.
Jerry, can you put a 3-week counter up for the next 3 episodes? Thank you.
Let's go, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry.
Get on that, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. We appreciate you. Jerry's lucky to have us. We're the number.
Jerry's lucky.
Yeah.
He's lucky.
To edit a top 5 podcast on iTunes. I mean, you put that on your resume, you could pretty much go anywhere. You get any job. Last but not least, we have the Enigma. No, sorry, the artist formerly known as the Enigma, Perfect Pal Forever, the wild card, Ian Kane.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
I like how his nickname now is the wild card. Did he
Yeah.
pick that up? Did he choose that?
Yeah, he picked his own.
No,
picked his
you
own
cannot.
nickname.
You cannot pick your own nickname. You
I know.
cannot.
I did.
I know.
It's not
We gotta
allowed.
think. We'll think of another one, but in the meantime, that's what we're rolling with.
So, how funny would it be though if the Flash was blind? Because he just went so
Just
fast
running
and just
into
smashed into things.
That would actually be hilarious.
He's just like, boom.
Bam! Smacks a wall every 5 seconds.
That's a fun game to play in the future. It's like, okay, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? But if you chose it, this is what would happen to you. Like, if for flight,
This is the con side, okay?
Yeah.
You get super fast, but you're blind.
right, you can fly, but every time you fly, someone you know dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Just real morbid.
Or
So deep.
if you go flying, you cannot control your bladder and you piss the whole time.
You could fly, but you can only fly naked.
It's like you're rain on
that's
everybody.
good. Yeah, dude, I'm a little disappointed, Rocco. You need to get on that Daredevil train. You used to like Smallville so much. Like you used to love
Dude,
it.
I had every season of Smallville up to season, I think it was 10.
I'm starting to
10
think you like
seasons of
Smallville for the CW writing and not so much for the comic book aspect of
No.
Well, he was really Gilmore Girls too, so.
Oh, I loved Gilmore Girls.
it. They're remaking Gilmore Girls.
No, stop it!
I swear to God, it's on Netflix.
I'm just kidding. I didn't watch Gilmore Girls.
Oh, all right.
No,
Well,
that's not.
who each their own. But yeah, dude, Supergirl is awesome, and they have Superman on there, and he's great.
I like Supergirl. I like that so far. I saw a few episodes of that.
Yeah, man. So if you like that, you should check out.
Netflix.
You should check out Arrow and Flash. Those are also good shows.
God, that would be so hilarious though if they did like what we were just talking about with a TV show, like with Flash or something. Like, oh, he's blind.
They should do that for like an April Fool's episode.
Oh, that's
like,
great.
Because Mr. McPlixick or whatever, the little tiny dude that's like Superman's rival, he could totally do that because he's all like tricksy with magic. He can make all of them like blind, or every time Supergirl flies, like someone gets injured. Like that'd be really interesting. It'd be like a fun game come to life. It'd be awesome.
Yep.
If you guys didn't know, each and every week, the Maelstrom gamers hop onto Skype, each bringing a topic for our discussion, but more importantly for your entertainment. And each one of those topics is its own separate video that we put on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MaelstromGamers channel, Monday through Friday. And each topic is rolled up into one giant episode on Saturday, so you can get everything for free on YouTube. If you'd like to support us with as little as $1, and you'd like to get all that stuff early, or some may say on time, go to patreon.com/MaelstromGamers and throw us a couple bucks, and it really helps support us. And now you're looking at Ian's mouth because Rocco left, And that's what happens when you try to put heads in a box based on Skype's
Hey, Clay.
crazy. I wish I could just.
How are you?
I wish in Skype I could move you guys all around. That would make my life just infinitely easier.
Yeah.
My God.
And he's back.
And kind of, maybe. We'll see.
So my mouth isn't like the center of attention anymore.
No, I immediately wanted to change that because I got scared, and I think everybody else watching is scared. The millions of people that watch the show daily and weekly. And the other thing is that if you don't have money, you can support us for free. You can go on Facebook, you can go on Twitter, comment, like, subscribe, follow, and share. A lot of people are doing that, and we really appreciate it. And join in on the discussion. We want to talk, hear your comments. And we're very diligent in getting back to everyone very quickly. And then lastly, if you like what you hear and you like what you're seeing, you can get more of us as we show off our mediocre gaming skills, as we're streaming games. I think we're moving from YouTube gaming back to Twitch. I think it's really in Steve's court. He mans a lot of that stuff now. That's his department. And so we are going to be streaming games non-stop. Usually it's League of Legends, a lot of Battlefield 1 right now. So, and if you go onto our YouTube page, you'll see a very funny video of Steve and Rocco playing Battlefield 1, just kind of going ham, having fun with the game. It's very, very entertaining. Rocco's trying to get back, so I'm going to add him.
Hey guys, I think my mouth is back. What if I had like a big old cold sore or something?
Oh God, that'd be terrible. Man, I'm completely thrown off by this distraction that Rocco has provided for us. I think that's
now he's three. He's three faces on mine now.
Yeah, I know. I panicked. I just added all of them, thinking one of them was going to join. So that's it. We stream games. The last thing is we want to play with you guys. We want to build a community. So if you
don't play with yourself,
don't play with yourself. That's go to hell for going and playing with yourself. Apparently, so play with us. We're on, like we said, League of Legends. We're on a little bit of Uncharted, Battlefield 1. A ton of our handles are in the bottom. I think we're gonna add some more because I think we don't have all the Steam ones. I think I have your PS4, but I don't think you have your Steam ones. So if you're on the computers, those crazy computers, we'll put those Steam ones on there.
Very cool.
All right, waiting for Rocco. He's still struggling, which is a shame because we plan to have two topics based around him being here. So,
we'll kick one off.
Yeah,
or we could just actually kick a different one off.
Yeah, that's a great. I think that's a great idea. Which one, Ian? Do you want to do? Yeah. It's your mouth again.
Yeah.
What if we did reuniting with birth parents? Do you want to try that?
Sure. Did you?
Right. I'm completely thrown off. All right.
Okay, that's cool. Let's kick it off.
All right, Rocco, you son of a bitch.
Let's just talk shit about Rocco.
Let's just talk shit about Rocco for the next hour. So I had an idea for a topic that will be our first topic, which was based on the a couple recent travels that I've done and like people I've met in those travels, and it was weird. It was just a coincidence. Like I met like a couple people that were saying that they had just or were going to meet their birth parents for the very first time.
So they were adopted?
Yeah, so they were adopted, or they had to have been adopted, like either whether through foster care or whatever. Like, it was really interesting to hear their nervousness, and then it was really relieving to hear that they had a good time. Because, I mean, you can imagine you don't know who these people are. You don't know why they let you go. Was it for good reasons? Was it for bad reasons? You know, like, why did that happen? And so, God, and then having a kid now, it was just like, it was such a surreal experience to hear these people talk about, going through the process of being like, okay, I think I'm ready. Some people are in their 40s, and they're like, I think I'm ready to finally, like, see these people, find these people, and then the process of finding them, going through, like, different documentations, trying to find, like, old, documents from the foster care people. And then, I think, I'm not sure how the process goes, but I think the people, if they give you up, I think they have a right to hide that information or not. But there's ways around it too, right? Like,
okay.
Rocco's here.
Hey.
I can hear you guys.
Hey.
All right.
Alrighty.
And I was just explaining to Ian Rocco that these people who are finding their birth parents, like they run that risk if these people are like gonna meet their expectations or be above it, right? Like I don't know if people have low expectations thinking about it, right? Like or what, like and then it's such a weird dynamic because then you talk to your foster parents a lot of times, right? From the stories I've listened to, like, what do they think about, maybe they even knew them, or like how they feel, because it's like, well, yeah, that's your birth parents, but like,
I took care of you.
Yeah, I took care. I'm really your parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could ever beat that knowing. You know what I mean? I just think there's always something inside someone being like, yeah, no, I know, but like, this is my blood, and that goes a long way, right? Like, and says a lot. So my question for you and I and potentially Rocco is, if you had the chance to find your birth parents,
Hola,
would
Rocco.
you?
Well,
Sorry, guys. Does it make
Okay.
noise every time I join, by the way?
No, I think so, but
I think
like
it
like a
goes-
little bloop
Sorry.
bloop. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fine. This
So-
first hour is we're all on a dumpster truck on fire.
Yeah, it's
Totally fine. It's totally
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Good.
we got this.
Yeah,
We got
we're driving, man. We're fine.
We're not the best.
We're not the worst.
Well, we are entertaining.
Boom.
Boom.
See, 3-part piece right there.
We got it in there.
Worked out actually
That's
pretty
what-
well. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
This is where we start putting out that fire and drive that dump truck right into the damn bay.
Great. I love it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
so my question was, if you had the chance to meet your birth parents, would you?
Yeah, I would.
I-
And this is if I was adopted, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I would definitely.
What
do it
other
because,
way
I mean,
would it be?
Yeah, I was thinking like
Well,
Superman. Like, come
I mean,
on.
just because of like biological. I mean, there's something there with when it comes to like your biological parents. You know what I mean? To know
Right.
where you came from, like DNA wise.
Yeah.
You know, because there's some things that can be like nature, and there's some things that are nurture. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I definitely want to see my parents, my biological parents. Not saying that I'd be like, oh, mom, dad, I can't wait, I'm so happy. I just would want to know, just to know more scientifically, like, who are you? What are you about? Like, what kind of like, what do you have any cancers, any diabetes stuff,
Oh,
anything
right.
I got to worry about for my future? You know,
Right.
like, what do you got? You know,
Yeah.
but not as in like mommy and daddy. You know, I think I would respect the people that raised me so much at that point that I'd say
'Cause they really are.
those are my parents. You know, at
Yeah.
that point.
They're
So,
your real parents, and that's what Ian and I were talking about. And, like,
Right.
Yeah.
You can't undermine that, but like I just I just don't know anyone who wouldn't want to really just and it's got to be tough, right? Like you got to be battling that with because I was saying like some of these people are 30, some of these people are 40, and they're like their whole life they're just not ready. They're not ready to really confront that yet.
Well, I was gonna say they're scared. I'm sure. I mean, they're
Right.
probably terrified.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
there's a lot of emotions going through that. I mean, think about that. You're like, okay, I don't know if they just gave me up because they didn't want me, or who knows what the situation was, and maybe the situation that they tell me I won't be happy with. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
true too.
reason why,
Yeah.
But I can only imagine. Me, granted, we were never in that situation. I think a close second would be almost having like a step parent.
Yeah.
But to sit there, I think I would. I think I would want to know and kind of.
Well, I
talk
have a
to them.
step parent, and
Right.
he's been there since I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly feel like he's an adopted parent. He's my dad. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
raised me my entire life, and I love him love him so much, and I treat him like my father, and he is my father in my eyes. So it's like wasn't adopted, and I even had my real dad involved in my life.
Right.
But I still consider him to be more my father than my actual father because he actually raised me,
Right.
you know, and was there pretty much every day of my life, was always there to support me and stuff too as well. So I think I would definitely, if I was an adopted kid, be, eager to meet my biological parents, but not in a sense of, wanting them to be my parents,
Yeah,
but just in wanting to know, just in the curiosity there. I wouldn't
Mhm.
let that fear of that experience of, is it going to be bad? Or are they going to tell me what I don't want to hear to stop me from doing it? Where I think a lot of people allow that fear to stop them. I would do it out of the curiosity, just to be like, who gives a shit about what they have to say about it? I just want to know who they are,
Right.
Yeah.
and it might give
but-
you closure because, think
Yeah,
about
that
this,
too.
if you get to meet them and you're like, they're nothing that I thought, and you had this picture in my head, you're like, you know what? I'm glad I never fucking met them.
What if you
Yeah.
met? What if you met them and they were just like the biggest rednecks ever, just like chain smoking like crazy, drinking Keystone Lights out on the porch while you're walking up to go meet them, and they're fucking wasted, and you're
Or
just like, great, this is who I.
Or what if they were like
This is
really
them.
rich, but like really like obnoxious and
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
not
yeah.
nice? You know what I mean? You're like,
They were just
why,
like,
why
ew,
couldn't you
you're
take care
lower
of me?
class, you're a POS.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Come to
ugh.
the golf club and meet me. We're gonna
Meet you
drink
at
some
the-
champagne.
We'll meet you at the country club.
Yeah. Like, why couldn't you keep me? Like, that would, like, because that's an, like, there's a potential there that could open up a lot of wounds and a lot of things that you might have felt like you're done with, right? And you
Right.
realize they didn't have a good reason to keep you, you know, or to give you up, and you
you
have to
know-
live with that, and it's like, damn, that hurts.
You know who would be a good one for this is what's her name we had on as a guest a while
Right.
back. We didn't record the video.
Oh, we recorded it.
I mean, not the video got recorded. The audio didn't get recorded.
Yes. Yes.
What was her name again, Ian?
Izzy.
Izzy, yeah.
Yep, Izzy was adopted. She would have been a good one for this because she was talking about that.
That's
how
right.
That
Yeah.
was, you know, and yeah, I'd have to say, you know, not being there myself, not being an adopted child, you know, it's easy to say, hey, this is what I do. That is what I do, you know, because I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have those wounds that are in there, like you're talking about, that could get opened up very easily and could, you know, probably have a major effect in your life, your
Yeah.
psyche. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
So,
and then you gotta
I mean-
think, you know, do you stay in contact with them at that point? Do you even care? Like, with
Yeah.
today's day and age, I mean, you're gonna be friends on Facebook, right? Like, that's crazy, right? But like, maybe not. Maybe that's not the best. Like,
What
don't
do you
know.
feel like if you meet them and then like get their number? Do you feel guilty if you're hanging out with your parents that adopted you and you're like
No.
texting? And you're like,
Oh,
like
oh,
you're
oh.
cheating.
right. You're cheating on your parents with your real
Yeah,
parents.
you know, that's a tough one to say, man. That's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of that's a big bag of mixed emotions that I
Right.
don't know what I would like. It's like I said, it's easy to say from outside, like, oh, that's exactly what I would do. But when I'm
Right,
there,
right,
I mean,
right.
I don't know, man. I really wouldn't,
Totally.
you know in there because, like what Ian just said, that's actually a big point. Would you feel like you're cheating on your parents if you're going to see your actual biological parents? You know?
Yeah.
I
I
well,
think
how
I
would you
kind of
feel if
would,
you're
and I
if
think
you
I
had
honestly-
adopted?
I think
And-
I kind of would. I feel like a little bit inside of me would feel like I'm doing something sort of wrong by meeting my biological parents, like, or at least upsetting my adopted parents in some way or another.
Well, you were contemplating adoption, Rocco. If you had adopted a kid,
I still am contemplating adoption.
right?
yeah.
And so if you were to adopt a kid, and like 20 years from now, they're like, look, mom, dad, I found.
I wouldn't. I don't think that I would care. As the parent side,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would care on the parent side because I would
Well-
say, all right, you know what? Absolutely, you want to go meet your parent? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll
You
go
know,
with.
like, yeah, exactly. I'll go with you. We'll
If
do
you
it.
want.
Da, da, da. Yeah, exactly.
Right,
if
right,
you want me
right.
to, if not, that's fine too. You can do it by yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but I think I would probably encourage that if in the adoption it was put that they were willing to be
Right.
exposed to that later, because I know that they can choose whether they want to or
okay.
not.
I thought so.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe they can be completely anonymous, where you would have no clue who that parent is.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
if you come to find out like your mother or father is like someone extremely famous? That would be cool.
I mean,
Like George Clooney's my
Yeah,
dad.
I know, that'd be perfect. I feel like he's got a ton of illegitimate children.
I'm
Just all
sure,
over the
I'm
place.
sure a lot of famous people do.
Yeah.
Honestly.
What if you find out that they have kids of their own?
That happens actually.
That does happen, yeah.
Oh.
That
Happens
I just
often.
think that would break my heart in some way.
Why'd you choose them and not me?
Yeah.
Ugly when you were born.
I
Especially
mean,
if
it
they feel
depends
like
on where you're at too, though. It depends on where you're at. So, like, if you were a 30-year-old man who had been adopted, right, and you were then looking at your parents, then I don't think that you would care so much about that. I think you'd be like, all right, it's probably they probably had me at a young
I don't know.
age, then they gave me up, and then they didn't
Sure.
want to do this, that, da da da. Be a parent. 10 years later, they decided to do it. Okay, that's more understandable. But if you were 18, hearing all that, you know.
Yeah.
That'd probably be a totally different boat for you.
I
You
don't-
probably would be immature in the sense of being like, you gave
probably-
me up, but you kept them?
Yeah.
Like,
probably
what the
leave like
fuck,
this.
you know?
Yeah. I think
Less
some part of me,
understandable,
if you're a 30-year-old, man or woman, or whatever, and you go and you see them and they have a whole perfect happy family. In some ways, you're kind of like, damn, like,
Well, it
sucks.
your adopted parents and you're like, holy crap, my life was amazing.
That's true.
You know,
That's true.
like,
Yeah, you're not thinking
like
that
then you
well.
probably wouldn't be sitting there with resentment in any way.
Mhm.
But if you had a shitty ass life raised by your adopted parents and then you saw this family that looked amazing that did put you up for adoption, yes, you probably would feel resentment no matter what age at that point.
Oh, of
you know,
course.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's all, I guess you'd say, like, situational.
That's tough.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, and if you think about it, like at the end of the day, you like the other side of the point is that the parents, who gave them up have to go through this too. So like, how do they feel? Like, do they really want to meet you, or is this kind of forced and stuff like that? So
is that just gonna feel terrible on their end?
Yeah.
God, yeah. What a crazy moment.
Imagine to be that parent. Okay, so imagine all of us. We had children. We had to end up giving because we were, I don't know, 17 years old, and we just couldn't do that in our lives at that time. Yeah. And then now, think about now, right? We're meeting our 15-year-old kid. You know what I mean? And they're like, "Hey, I just wanted to meet you. I just, hey, how do you think you would feel?"
Does he have a knife in his hand or no?
He or she? Oh, no. They just want to meet their parent. They just want to get to know who they are. And you're doing your own thing in life right now, right? You're married. We're all married. We have we have relationships. We've got children. Some of us have children. Ian, you don't have them yet. How would you feel? You got families getting started and stuff, and then you got a 15-year-old kid coming in. It's kind of, maybe they're not saying I want to, get involved in your life fully, but I do in a little bit, in a little sense.
What if real nervous and cut a wrestling promo? But look here, little brother, we had to give you up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then run away. I'd be like, wow. I could see why they gave me.
So mental illness is in my history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave it at that, and then he won't.
I think even as that parent, it's probably nerve-wracking too, because you're probably sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, in some ways, I'm sure some parents would sit there and hope that this doesn't like mess up what they have going for them, and some would be fully, depending on probably their relationships and where they're at in life, would be fully accepting of that, of a new member into their family.
Yeah.
I think that would all be situational too.
Yeah.
What if they lived really close to you? I mean, some people were taking flights, but like, what if they were just like in the same town?
Okay, so on that, this is some crazy shit. There's times when you get a, not so much nowadays, but where children can get mixed up in the hospital, right? I heard a story of where pretty much, this is like on this topic in a sense, 2 kids got mixed up in the hospital, and I think it was in the UK, and so they were essentially like adopted by these other people, not knowing they were adopted, actually thinking that they were their genuine kids. They get raised up, and they're kind of like, wow, this kid's a little bit fairer skinned than our family is, because they're like Middle Eastern. And this kid's white as shit.
Well, we're white,
and then
this baby's black. We don't think it's our baby.
A darker skinned kid, right? So there are Muslims raising what would have been, a Christian white girl, because that was her mother at that time. And her mother, who was a Christian white lady, was raising a would have been a Muslim child.
Oh, wow.
So they ended up meeting each other later on. They at like 14, they discovered this whole deal.
This is the plot of Sister Sister.
Not even kidding. They discovered this whole deal.
Is it really?
It's practically.
They discovered this whole deal, and they didn't want to switch. They actually stayed in the same families, but they became somewhat friends, but not fully friends, because they actually were judgmental of each other. Like, these 2 kids were like, well, I don't really know her because her customs and her culture is really just not about what I'm about. So I don't really know. Like, I don't even want to be a part of that family. It was kind of like, I don't want to be a part of that family. But they had
what do you
this all came around. This all came around because the Christian white lady had a divorce with her husband, and he always felt like she didn't look like him at all. They got a DNA test to find out that he wasn't the father, but also to find out that she wasn't the mother. So they did another one. Yeah. They did another one, which came back the same exact results, and that's when they discovered this whole issue that happened.
And they went on to Murray, and he was all like, you are not the parents.
Mother, how does that happen?
It was the UK version of Murray. Like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
No, but how wild
Oh,
would
you
that have
are
been,
not
huh?
the mother.
Imagine if we had been swapped at birth with some other parents or some other family, not even known our whole lives.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, Rocco,
That
we've
would've been-
talked about how you and I have been swapped.
Yes, we have been swapped. We
Right.
are brothers from another mothers.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah. So we were twins.
Twins.
And
Yes,
no one can
twins.
deny it. Fully
I don't
identical
have hair.
twins.
He doesn't have hair. It's
Yeah.
how it works.
We both have beards and glasses.
Identical.
So Clay,
Identical.
We
you
met
would have
each
been
other.
my best friend growing up. That
Yeah,
would've-
I could have been. But this motherfucker took that path.
I took that path.
Instead of me.
Yes, exactly.
You went down to Florida and I went to New Jersey.
Yep. Yep.
It's ridiculous. All right.
Just crazy.
Rocco, we only have you for X amount of time. So let's move on
Yes.
to your topic.
Okay, so my topic is it's coming around right now because of the fact that we're dealing with our president-elect, Donald Trump, who believes that so my topic is on global warming, okay? Our president-elect who's coming into the White House starting in January, he does not believe that global warming is real. He believes that it is a hoax created by the Chinese government so that they could put regulations on the American industry so that they could get ahead of the game, essentially. Right? I think that's a bit ridiculous, especially because the entire science community has came together to say that global warming is a real thing. Not even the science community coming together, but the fact that we can see things in our own lives today about how warm our own environments have gotten over the span of 10 years, where our winters aren't as cold or they're not coming around as soon as they used to. We can see these on our own lives as well as in research. So an example of that is that North Pole is 30 degrees warmer right now in the wintertime than it's ever been before.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is showing that global warming is a real thing. Okay, so for our president to be sitting there and saying that it's a hoax, this scares me. And now that scares me on a large scale more than it does with like the terrorism or this or that, because when we're talking about global warming, we're talking about the entire world and that it can end the human existence. And I have children with a family, so the future is very, very important for me. And I want to make sure that we're taking steps to make this not a situation where we all burn on this planet.
We can't have a Hurricane Sandy every year. We can't have a Hurricane Katrina every year.
Nope.
It would just destroy our country slowly. I mean, there's global warming, and there's also like fracking.
Yep.
Can cause like certain earthquakes. Like there's a lot of stuff that we're doing.
I'm not saying we're good for the environment. We're technically a bacteria of the world, but think about this. I mean, I haven't done extensive research as you guys have, Rocco, but things that I've learned in the past is that the Earth, if you look historically, has always gone through cycles of warming and cooling off. Yep. So we could just be going through a normal warming up period, and then eventually it'll go
so to that point, you're right, as in the sense of the world has gone through these periods. Mm-hmm. But what we have seen from that data compared to what we're doing right now, we've seen that we have sped up that rate exponentially by like thousands and thousands of times the rate of what you did normally naturally. Because of the fact of how much CO2 released in the world, we are then speeding up the warming process, which is releasing more CO2 from the frozen ice that is melting because of what we're actually doing.
Right, and you can see they have CO2 maps, like almost like heat maps, and you can see giant holes inside them, and that's what's causing the increased heat. The only thing to my knowledge that can repair the CO2 shield, or the CO2 destroys like the atmospheric shield that protects us from UV rays and excess heat. The only thing that can destroy or repair that is lightning. So
is that what I said?
That's my understanding, and I could be completely wrong as of now. But I do remember watching like it being repaired through like natural occurrences of like lightning stuff. But like it's just not repairing quick enough. We are by far, like Rocco said, speeding up this process. I'm looking at in the global warming, like he thinks it's a hoax, But it's really funny because the United Nations Climate for Change conference happened last in 2015 in Paris, and they had brought in a ton of countries together to unite under a set group of policies that will help reduce global warming and get the world kind of back on track and slow down this process that we have sped up. And you look at the CO2 emissions, China's off the charts.
Off the charts.
Off the charts. The next two big ones are United States and the European Union, which has 28 different countries. Then you have India, Russia, Japan, Germany, South Korea. You have international shipping, Canada, United Kingdom, Brazil, and like these things are like now tiny compared to the United States, and China is about double the amount of what the United States does. So it's really interesting to see that he thinks it's a hoax, yet all these nations and scientists have come together to be like, look, this is what we're going to do. So now he said a lot of things that he seems to be backtracking on, which I find fascinating on so many different layers. But we'll see. Like, I don't think he hasn't yet backtracked on this. And so whether it's we're not going to do it anymore, or well, we need to renegotiate so that we don't have to do as much regulation or something like that, because his transition team has very much a deregulation of government a part of it, right? It's an alt-right, somewhat like old conservative mentality in some ways. In some ways it's not. Some ways it's moderate, and in some ways it's very there's some things that the Democrats would like to see as well. It's a mixed bag. So yeah, he believes, it's a hoax. I think it's absolutely a problem, and we're seeing it in the form of just sea level rises. We're seeing it in the form of mass destructive storms every year. We're seeing it in wildlife destruction. We're seeing it all over the place.
Yep.
So I'm just looking up some myths and facts about global warming, because I know that it's a very polarized topic, and I understand that there is a scientific community that is all about, that global warming is there, but there's also part of the scientific community that calls it a hoax also.
They're a minority, though.
Yeah, I know. But some things that I'm hearing, I'm reading and seeing here is that like unprecedented melting of ice is taking place in both north and south polar regions. Mm-hmm. They're saying that's a myth. And now one thing they say is that both Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets are growing in thickness and cooling at their summit. So and they're saying that the sea ice around the Antarctic attained a record area in 2007. So they're saying that it was a record size in 2007 and that it actually wasn't melting off.
That's like directly conflicting with the reports that we have read, in that it's melted. And I mean, you have sea levels rising. Those sea levels, like that water has to come from somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And that's coming from the ice caps because of its melting. There's like images of what it looked, what North Antarctica looked like 10 years ago, and then what it looks like now in like the current time of year, and it's just polar bears like on grass as opposed to a ton of like snow, right?
So here's another thing too as well. I forget what movie it was recently. I think it was Leonardo DiCaprio was doing a movie where they were looking for ice forever. They were like trying to find a good shot location for it, and they were discovering the effects of global warming because of the fact that they couldn't find a location that was giving off this ice field that they were looking for, because they were not finding it because it was melting off. Another thing too that worries me with this, guys, is the lack of forethought. The lack of forethought about the future, right? We have done terribly as a country to think about, if we do this today, what will happen down the road, right? We have been, as a country as a whole, we've been making decisions about the immediate, like, we just want stuff now. We want stuff now, not caring about what happens later on.
That's the human race. We've been doing this forever.
This is what I'm saying. So, like, we have to get off of this perspective, especially with something so big like global warming, for example. We have to start thinking about what we can do today to reduce what's going to happen later in the future, or to make a
stop
major
driving,
change.
Rocco.
Well, or
so that's where it
get
gets
out of the car and walk.
So here's where it gets political, right? Is Donald Trump won on the backs of the Rust Belt and the middle of America, which for a large part is agriculture, lumbering, and coal. And coal is in a big way, and like oil, right, is a big industry that thrives on these not
Fossil
so
fuels.
green environmental
Yeah.
things. So, okay, by admitting that climate change is something that they need to fight, would in some ways admit that he needs to reduce the usage of all of that, right? And that would go against his platform base that has voted for him, which are people who really want jobs, who are working in these coal mines and working on these oil rigs. So, it is a shame. Sorry for the noise, but it is a shame. But what do you do? Like, and I sympathize with all these people who are hearing this, and I see how it can be very easy to want to, because if you believe in climate change but you work in a coal mine, you're basically admitting that like your job needs to stop, and that's got to be really hard for someone to come to.
So I guess at the end of the day, when you're really trying to get to the point of like getting yourself off of fossil fuels, we have to understand that it's like they have their hands so deep in the pockets of every politician we can imagine. So it's going to be hard for us to get off of fossil fuels. But why can we not have, even if you were an advocate that says that it's a hoax for global warming, why can you not still then say, fine, it's a hoax, but let's increase our what we allow for. Geez, man, this I'm sorry, I'm crossing a railroad and the railroad thing was down, but there's no train coming, so it made me nervous. Anyway, so why can't we still have things like fossil fuels? Say, okay, you're gonna have your coal mines and this and that, even though I know that those are ruining and it's creating to be faster, but with a guy who says that that's all a hoax anyways. Say, you want to create more jobs, let's create more jobs in the green industry as well. We're not to say we'll take away or hinder whatsoever in the fossil fuel area because you believe it's a joke, which I don't, but still create
if your
jobs
goal
for, like,
is to
solar power and other things too as well, to create more power out there from different areas, not just oil only or coal only, but now even clean energies too. Like, why be so opposed to the idea of clean energy just because you're opposed to the idea of global warming? That shouldn't go hand in hand together.
Yeah, I mean, they do though. They do in a lot of ways, because if you look at you're building cars for, even the car industry is impacted by this, right? Are you going to make electric cars, or are you going to make traditional cars?
But why not make them anyways? Is my point. Why not make both? Not saying so. Like, again,
because
it's
in some ways it's a zero-sum game. There's only so many people to buy cars, and if you have you have to replace at this point. What are you going to replace it with? And it's going to be in my mind, I could be completely wrong, but in my mind, it's the coal and it's the oil. Like, it needs to be replaced with green energy.
Well, no. I agree with you. Okay, I agree with you, and it should be. But when you're talking about, we have a president who doesn't agree with either one of us at all whatsoever, right? And wants to just stick with coal and with fossil fuels only. Yeah. Then why he can't? I mean, even if he's trying to create jobs, and let's say he's not doing electric cars, what if he starts doing like?
Well, because that's just it. Is like, if he's going to create jobs, the first thing he's going to do, in my opinion, is not going to be towards green energy. Like, these people, it's not that they're like, they are worried about their job, but they also don't have jobs. Yeah. There's two big portions of that. There's those who are worried about their jobs because they see all the other people who can't get jobs in the Rust Belt. These people want more coal jobs. They want more lumber jobs. They want more of these jobs that will bring, like, and so if he were to even put his attention towards the green energy, that's going to piss off all those people. So he needs to get more coal mining, which means to go against. Unless he hired
those individuals that don't have jobs right now that were supposed to be working in the coal mines to build solar fields.
How? They don't have any experience, and a lot of them don't even want to do that. They want their old job back. So it's really convoluted. And the other point I just found is that, like, this affects, and I think it's pretty complicated, right? Because I don't think they understand either, and it sucks that they're not willing, or we can't figure out a way to have these people have jobs towards green energy, and this is partly on the CEOs, like. The president-elect needs to talk to CEOs like Elon Musk and be like, look, we have a problem. You want to do certain, like, green energy projects. I need your help in convincing all of these people in the Midwest that need jobs, that they will be excited and want to work for you to build green energy. Like, I need your help to do that. Because they just want their old stuff back. They don't really, grass is, like, not greener for them. They want to stick with the devil they know, right?
I understand.
Because the other thing here is that you're looking at Greenland. I'm pulling up a report that says they're suffering from global warming too. Greenland has been warmer and warmer each year, and their animals are sometimes like 5 pounds lighter, and that is thousands of dollars lost for every single animal. That's like not the 5 pounds that they could potentially sell it for, right? And it goes into their crops as well. If their crops are not growing to the size, or
That's
having
the other
trouble
thing I
because
was
there's
going to
not
say
enough
is
water.
like when we can see this in the droughts, for
Right.
example, too. And when we're talking about like global warming, for example, we have had massive droughts out here in Georgia. We have had almost an entire month, a month and a half, maybe even longer, without any rain whatsoever. We had in Alabama, we had a forest fire going on in North Carolina, in Tennessee, and in North Georgia. 4 huge fires going on all at the same time because of the drought.
Right.
And now we had winds blowing in. The city of Atlanta looked like it was a massive fog day for an entire week last week.
Right.
But it was all smoke, forest fires all around in these 4 different states around us, and even one in our state.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 13,000 acres of forest that have been burned up because of these droughts.
Iowa's getting hit with stuff like that too.
Exactly.
It's all over the country.
Because of this global warming, this happening, this occurring, droughts have been on the rise dramatically, which are causing all these other effects to happen. This is the butterfly effect. What people don't see, this is what I say about forethought. Seeing what we're doing right now. The butterfly effect of like you do one thing down the road.
No, that's a rippling effect.
Yeah.
Okay, butterfly effect is if you go back in time, you touch something, and it changes everything for the future.
No, butterfly effect is the ripple effect. It's like if the butterfly flaps its wings in Japan,
a butterfly
the tsunami happens in the other side of the world.
A butterfly effect is a ripple effect. A ripple effect does not necessarily mean it's a butterfly effect. A butterfly effect is a type of ripple.
Okay, gotcha.
But it is one that is done in the past
then a
to change the
ripple
future.
effect in the sense of like,
there's a movie that
yes, we don't do this one thing here, this happens, and all these other things are connected, where you don't even think about drought being connected to it. You don't think about forest fires being connected to it.
Right.
You don't think about all these things that are happening today that we are experiencing. We're like, gosh, this is the end of the world. This is what people here in the South say. It's the end of the world. It's the end of the world. No, it's not the end of the world. It's us being stupid. We are going to lead to that.
But you can't really expect people, like I said, that they just care about jobs. They don't care how it happens, but they want their job back. And we have to hold someone like the president-elect and the CEOs and the big corporations for the amount of money they get to put it on their shoulders to figure out these problems and connect these threads and fix them. And it's interesting because you do have Donald Trump threatening to remove themselves from the United Nations. I forget what it's called, the council or whatever, to lower the emissions and all that stuff for global warming. And you have like 50 or so, how many of it? Hundreds of U.S. businesses urged Trump to uphold Paris climate deal. Like, and we're getting more political as we talk about this, but this is a worry of mine with the type of cabinet that we're running with, right? People are wasting their time trying to convince someone of something that's already been pretty much proven to go and move forward, but they're spending their time arguing for the most part. So how much time is going to be wasted just trying to convince this guy? I mean, this is the same guy that thought Barack Obama was not the president of the United States, was not born in the United States until just a couple months ago.
Until September.
He spent 8 years spouting that shit.
Yeah. And then he finally admitted it in September.
Because he finally saw the papers. It wasn't
He's
because
like,
he had a come to Jesus moment. It's because someone showed him.
Well, and I think that there is some strive towards solar energy. I mean, just like here down in Florida, we just passed a bill or an amendment that, or actually we didn't pass it. I apologize. We voted against it, which was going to hinder solar energy. So the people, I think, are acting towards trying to fix these issues.
I agree with Ian here, and this is why I was saying I think they might want to fix these issues even in the Midwest. They, because of the fact that you're talking about, if I get myself on solar power, I don't have an electricity bill. A lot of people would be happy about that idea and they'd be very willing to get, into solar if they can eliminate another extra utility bill.
Yeah,
because they're doing it.
We've talked about this tons of times in the past. Elon Musk wants to turn that electric bill into a positive. Could you
Yeah,
imagine
exactly.
getting
Making
a
money.
check for $100 every month because
Yeah.
you're storing electricity that you're
So,
giving to plants?
so that's your argument or your discussion or your sales pitch that you say Elon Musk gives to the Midwest, right?
Yeah.
That's the one they give. They go, hey, listen, do you guys like paying $200 a month or $150 a month for your electricity? No.
Right.
Well, how about you make $100? And the only way to do this is we have to switch and convert what we have going on right now to clean energy.
Right.
And they go, fine, I work for the coal industry, but I'm totally cool with getting an extra $100 because I have solar panel.
But it's not.
And-
It's very complicated to try to tell millions of people that. Like,
No, I get
But
it.
people start to adjust. Okay, if you're in an industry that starts to go south and you see a job over here at this other industry where you could actually probably make more money, you will sit there and learn.
I
And
mean, maybe,
the
but
workforce will eventually retire and other people will grow into it. You know?
absolutely. I just think that's going to be a struggling transition. Like, these people are in their 50s. They really want to retire soon. They don't necessarily want to have to learn a whole new skill. They don't want to start from the
course.
bottom. Like, I understand their stubbornness and the will to just want something very simple, which is to just get my job back. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care about the two generations. I just want my job back so I can retire. And, like, while I don't necessarily agree with that mentality, I absolutely understand how someone could have that mentality
Right.
at that age or in that position. Because I get it, man. You just, Occam's razor. You just want the simplest thing because that's what makes sense to you. Like, that's all you want. And
Hey,
so
guys,
convincing
I'm going
those
to have to
people
roll, by the way.
Darn it, we didn't get to political correctness. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
we can jump to a different topic. How about that?
All right, you guys have a good one.
Okay.
See ya.
Peace.
Yeah.
All right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. I'm going to redo heads, or people are going to have to stare at your mouth the entire time.
Hey guys.
Hey, dudes.
So we'll take a little intermission real quick, and we're gonna pop back.
Yeah, intermission? Pop back now, man.
No, we're
Fuck
rolling with it.
intermission.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's roll with it.
Just keep talking until we're ready.
I could rap,
You could rap,
or I could beatbox.
or you could beatbox.
We are the Maelstrom Gamers.
Oh, man, we might have to take that intermission.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, that is, it's okay. I am not. I am equally as bad.
Okay. Well, then I feel better.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Crap. Okay. So our next topic was gonna.
Okay.
Well, while we're on this,
Okay.
oh man,
Now-
there's one more thing I was gonna mention.
That's fine. And right before you do, I just want to let you know, like, I didn't just pull that thing out of my ass. It was actually something I kind of just looked up here real quick while you guys were talking. This was actually things that were written and researched by a Robert Carter, who's a research professor at James Cook University in Queensland. It sounds like and at another university of Adelaide in South Australia. So, like, and he's like, I guess, a marine geologist and environmental scientist, and he wrote a book about myths and facts of global warming. Granted, it seems like I'm not going to say on the fence. He's saying, yes, there are some things, but there's things that are being blown out of proportion, and people are saying, because you could sit there, okay, just like on any chart, people are like, oh, in 2020, the temperature is going to be way up here. Well, yeah, that's if it just keeps going at that constant, but that's not how it always works. Things go up and down constantly. So there was times in the Earth's atmospheric, I didn't do crazy research. I'm not a professional at this shit.
Yeah.
But it does hit peaks and valleys of heat and coolness. So yes, I think that we are damaging the atmosphere and creating probably some more warmth, but I don't think it's to the extent as some of these extreme people are going crazy about.
Yeah,
That's just my thoughts.
No, I think, and I really appreciate's not strong enough word. I think it's necessary to have that kind of counter argument, and it's a good one. Because, or else we just start spitting and agreeing with each other. So, yeah, I think you make some really good points, and I can absolutely see a hyperbolic rhetoric coming from that side. And maybe it's because without it, it doesn't seem dire enough, and it won't move the chains soon enough. But
And I definitely want to see green energy. I want to see all that just because, it is better for the environment. It definitely helps people, I believe, more. It's going to create jobs. Granted, yes, it will take jobs from other fields by lowering the dependency on, electric companies and everything. But if you think about it, like in a big picture, the electric companies are sitting there, depending on how they produce their energy, are spitting out energy to all these houses. So it's just a bunch of wires and going to
And grid.
houses. Yeah, a big grid, and it's going to the houses, and everyone's paying this entity that's going like this. Instead, have all of these become the power, send it
Well,
to the power. Yeah, exactly.
that's yeah.
And that'll be great. It lowers the expenses of a household.
Yeah.
It
Which is necessary.
lowers, yeah, the damaging effects of the atmosphere. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. Of course, we're sitting there burning coal and all this other shit that just goes into the atmosphere. Yeah, it's going to damage it.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
um,
And lithium, which is a source of a lot of the quote unquote green energy,
Right.
is also should be noted. It's better than oil and coal, but it's not perfect either.
No,
It's not
no.
completely green like some people might believe. There are definitely problems with its process, and there's definitely problems with what it emits or how you get rid of it. But it is a step in the right direction in that it is better, relatively speaking, than the current status quo. So, just as a reminder out there, if
Right, of
anybody's like,
course.
no, we'll be completely fine if we stick with lithium. It's like, well, not really, but it is a step in the right direction.
Exactly. And I mean, even wave energy. I mean, if you think about that, that's just pretty much created by nature. That coming
Yeah.
in could
Well-
affect a wheel that turns that powers something.
That ultimately is what we should be striving for.
Right. And
Yeah. Oh my God, I've seen concept art of that, and it's an insane
pretty cool.
giant wheel in the bottom of the ocean, and there's just a farm of them, and
Yeah.
they're all turning because the current of the ocean, and it's just it's so cool looking.
But then you got to think, okay, does that damage the
right,
I
yeah.
guess the life of the sea, and then boom, everything is going to have some cause and effect. Nothing is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But we could at least incorporate maybe all of it to work together where it only has a very small impact on each one of those, instead of just, oh hey, we're going to just go destroy the ocean floors, or
Right.
just farm a lithium and just destroy the earth.
Yeah.
But I think a diversified energy plan would be the best way to go.
Cool, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's transition to the next topic
Okay.
that I had, which was, I really want Rocco here for this, but whatever.
all-
We might be able to do a part 2 of this later. But basically, political correctness. I'm doing something that I've been preaching, I'm beating a dead horse, is the idea of having an open mind and recognizing the fact that there are caricatures on each side of a political party that believe certain things that you can easily say and paint a picture with all these people are the same, and they're not. And it is an urge that you need to fight, because the last thing, and I use this analogy a lot, the last thing you want to feel like or do or be a part of is that your political views are akin to being a part of a football team, and you wear that jersey, and no matter what, you need to rep that team and screw the other team just because it's the other team. I like to I see a lot of, again, sorry for the noise, I see a lot of instances where it feels like, imagine this, let's say the Giants don't have Eli Manning. Let's say the Giants have
Jay Cutler.
yeah, let's say Jay Cutler, right? And let's say the Patriots are willing to trade Tom Brady for a 6th rounder to the Giants. And then the Giants fans are like, hell no. Hell no. No, he's bad. He's terrible.
Hell no, we won't go. Hell
Yeah.
no, we won't.
And just because I hate the Patriots, right?
Right, right.
That would be irrational, and it would not be objective to his skill set. You should take him, and for a 6th rounder, that's insane. Even Xander agrees.
Yeah.
And so it's I see a lot of this hey, this needs to be, and it's just because the other side is saying it, they're like, no, that's completely wrong, it's terrible. So I try to preach an open mind. I try to have that open mind. I try to understand where the other side is coming from. And that leads me to a lot of questions. And this topic is a question of political correctness. And I'm hoping you might, because I feel like you're more, right, but more right moderate. You're a libertarian. I feel like I'm myself a libertarian in a lot of ways. And I feel like you might have a good understanding of maybe why this is. But I want to understand what, this war on political correctness, why is political correctness so bad? And why is it a bad thing to have? And I'm trying to understand. I have a couple ideas, but I also have a couple things that I would counter with as to why we
Okay.
need it. So I want to ask you first, like, your understanding of this, quote unquote, we are too worried about political. Like, what does that mean to say we are too worried in this country about political correctness?
Because okay, so if you think about it, we have the right to say and do virtually what we want. We're supposed to be a free country, okay?
Yeah.
So, but for political correctness, if my understanding, if you say something wrong, you just get it gets blown out of proportion. It goes crazy. Like,
Yeah.
why do I have to sit there and tippy-toe around things that I feel and want to say? Now, granted, I'm not saying go out and just bash people and call them every derogatory thing in the world, but if I was to say something that's my thoughts, why do I have to be punished for that?
Yeah, so when I hear things like and I understand, but then my brain, I really want to get into the details of that, because if we paint that as a broad rule stroke feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can apply that to someone who's like, I feel and think this, and I should just be able to say the N-word.
Right. Okay.
How do you feel about someone's
I don't
thoughts
think
on that?
that's right at all. Yeah, I granted, yes, and that's what I'm saying. Is like there should be boundaries, but where you start to like go further and further into it, yeah, derogatory names and everything of that sort. You don't want to sit there, and it's just to be. You shouldn't say those things to be a good human being.
Yeah, so then can you give me an example of something that you feel pressure to not say or tippy-toe around? Because I understand that concept, but everything that comes back to is, well, I just want to be able to say derogatory stuff. Like, I want to just call Asian people Orientals. Why can't I do that? It's like, well, they don't want to be called that. And
Do they want to be called Asian?
yeah,
Because they could get mad. What do you mean I'm Asian?
but they don't. And they get mad at Orientals, but they don't get mad at. They want to be called like Asian is the appropriate. Oriental is factually incorrect.
Okay.
So not only is it factually incorrect, but it's just not something they want to be called. And so,
Right.
why is that a bad? Why can we not say, hey, look, like there's a way to correct someone, but like I think, in my opinion, it's absolutely understandable to reinforce the fact of like, hey, that's not what they're called.
Right. Of course. Yeah. And
So
I'm not.
I'm sorry. Do you have an example of something that like you feel tippy-toed around that you should, and maybe this platform isn't the best because you don't want, but like maybe you can give me an example of someone or someone you think would think about not wanting, maybe not you personally, but
Yeah. Because there's really nothing that because I don't like to just insult people or anything of that sort. I'm actually, I would say, very politically correct. I mean, I don't have those urges to go around saying certain things. I don't care. But what if someone comes up and goes, "Oh yeah, that black guy over there," and they're like, "Oh, what? That's bad." Well, you
right, okay, that's
you're
a really
sitting
good
there
example.
yeah, you're sitting there. Okay, you get robbed. Well, what did the guy look like? Do I?
Can I
He
say
was-
black?
or I think he was Oriental. Oh, no, you got to say Asian, or like I don't know, Filipino. I mean, who knows? Like there's just those certain
yeah.
things. But I mean, I don't have those urges to say things, but those could be
So
construed as being something and not being politically correct.
Okay.
And not only that, it's not only just race. I mean, think about like people with special needs. I say like, special needs or something like that. But if someone goes, "Oh, he's retarded," be like, "You used the R word?" I'm
Right.
sorry, but that is a term that's used for that. I don't know what his thing is. Now, granted, I don't sit there and say that. I say, special needs, but
Yeah.
that's how someone could feel. Like, and then you get this painted light of that you're insensitive and all this other stuff. Like, no, maybe I'm just trying to explain, there's something with this person or something of that sort.
do you think it's how you say it though? Because like if
Oh,
someone's
of
trying to
course.
explain, like there's a couple examples that you gave that I would comment on, and then like if you're like, well, yeah, he's retarded, is one thing, but
Right.
And I personally, I like, and this is so interesting to me to hear. Like, this is why I wanted to have this topic, because I'm so fascinating, and I'm like, mind is like, my synapses are firing off as you're explaining all this stuff, because they do make sense. It's just my brain doesn't go there. So this is really good because I'm learning a lot. But like, in my opinion, and I can see how I'll get into this later, but in my opinion, I don't think that is what people are asking for in political correctness.
Right.
I think they want when you're about to call someone an idiot.
Right.
and you say, "Oh man, dude, I was at this movie, and this guy is such a fucking retard," and then that's when it's a problem.
And that is, and I'll tell you, like, I don't agree with any of that stuff, and I'm not saying I support all this stuff at all. I'm just giving another side of the spectrum here. I think that you and I think a lot alike on that. I think that people shouldn't just go around screaming certain words or calling people certain things, because they are hurtful, and it's dependent on the person that's receiving these things.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have the effect. Granted, just because a person has the right to say whatever they want, sometimes it's not right to say that.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's the best way I could say it. Yeah, you have the right, but it's not a right thing to do as a person, and you don't want to. I guess there are people out there that just want to be, edgy and rude and just tries to push people's buttons, but. Why? What's the point? Let's all be human beings. Let's all be nice to each other. And yes, I understand political correctness, definitely, but that's just the side of the spectrum that I could think of.
Okay. I have a theory, and my theory is that this war on political correctness is a fallacy. Mm-hmm. It is a fiction. It is very similar to this idea that our guns are going to get taken away.
Yeah, and that's what I think is the mindset of a lot of people, is that they sit there and go, oh, okay, well, this is the start of this, and it's just going to roll into, they think probably the end game is everything you say has to roll through a lawyer first,
right?
At some point,
and you will be publicly shamed and humiliated, and you'll lose your job.
Yeah, you'll lose this and that, and
because I don't think anybody is sitting on one side going, you can never say the word retard. Right? Yeah. It's how we're explaining how you need to not say it in such a negative way or an offensive way, right? Like where you're talking about someone's being dumb and you're using the word retard, right? Like I really don't think anybody's sitting there going like, no, like, right? But the other side is thinking there's tons of people saying that I'm not gonna be able to do this, and it's two sides thinking, that this fake thing is gonna happen, right? Like, and then that just builds, and I feel like they're both thinking these things that are not going to happen are going to happen, and they're talking about a big, like, what-if scenario that they're arguing about, and that's because I can't, like, there's nothing tangible for me to, like, grasp at this, like, we need to be more politically correct, or, we can't have political correctness rule our lives. I'm like, what is ruling your life? Like, you had mentioned, like, you could see someone being fearful about, like, oh, you got whatever, like, what did he look like? When you are asked to describe someone, you can say black person, or you can say African American, or you know what I mean? Like that's fine. I think when it gets very touchy, which I would have to think about more, but I think where that might be considered not politically correct, or even like just you could clean up your speak a little bit and make it more modern, is when you're describing a story. And I see this more with an older age, but when they're like, oh, I was at the movie theater and this guy, he was black. He started getting very rude. It's like, well,
and why does that have any point of it? Yeah.
Right. And I think that is what people are talking about when they're saying you don't need to bring that part up. It's not like I was robbed. He was 6'2". He was black. Like, you're describing someone. It makes contextual sense. Right. When you're talking about a story where his race or gender or religion has literally nothing to do, you just feel compelled to tell the other person. Yeah. That's when it's like, well, he was Jewish.
And we were out to dinner. Okay, why does that fucking matter?
Why does that matter? And it's also like, I think it's just an effort to, like, it's really because here's what it's hitting a chord with a subconscious, like, mind, right? Like, I think a lot of, like, people sit here and go, no, I'm not a racist. It's like, okay, we had this with Yukiko. And a lot of this is subconscious. You really might not want or think you're racist, but you might do certain things that just are. And you're not a bad person. It's just this is just stuff that you have, like, we as a collective society would really benefit from trying to purge from our subconscious, to try to, like, get rid of, like, when I'm describing a TV show and I'm like, hey, man, that guy was so funny. And you're like, which guy? And I immediately go, oh, the black guy. Like, I am subconsciously defining someone by their skin. Right. And in an effort to just get rid of that, I'm trying to train myself, which is where maybe some of this political correctness of being like, dude, why do I have to learn this? And it could be hard to see. It's like, I could be like, no, the short guy who made that joke, like, if he was white, I probably would just say that anyway. I wouldn't say white guy, right?
Right.
And so I think that's where, because it's a little bit more complex, I think that's where people are like, why does that matter? And it's like, you're not a bad person. I'm just saying, like, if you did this, I think if we all did this, subconsciously, we might be better as human beings because we wouldn't see each other through that lens, right?
What if we just started saying, the fairly looking girl or the okay looking guy, just like kind of start doing it on how good they look, Or, that ugly motherfucker over there.
I think it would bring its own problems, but that would be hilarious. I almost want to start doing that. Yeah, dude. The host, the number 5.
Yeah.
Wait, which one's number 5? We're all hosts.
Yeah, exactly. The fairly good looking one,
That's awesome. Oh man. So I think, man, this is so interesting, and I wish people on both sides would have these types of conversations more, because I really think, like any relationship, like, and I'm sure you've been there, having a wife or any long-term relationship, when you don't talk about something like this, you have these preconceptions and these assumptions, and your brain goes to the immediate most thing that you think the other person's right, and like you're just like, nah, they probably think I can't say it, and that's ridiculous, and blah blah blah, and fuck them because they want. Like, I feel like there are 59 million people on each side of this relationship not talking to each other, and it's a shame because. And that's just, anytime I'm on Facebook, anytime I'm in a social media, because that seems to be a platform, it's just, hey, remember, just ask questions. Don't immediately paint everybody with one picture. Like, ask them, learn. Like, why do you feel that way? Because I bet we can talk about this a little bit, and maybe we can clear the air about what I'm actually asking and what you're actually afraid of, and we can kind of come to a conclusion there. And I think, like, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to, like, I'm just trying to think of all the other things that could have led to this political correctness, and I think we talked about a couple of them. The other one might have been like, the Washington Redskins situation.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's extremely racist, but that company just said, no, we're not changing it. And they have that right. They have that right. But I mean, if a whole community goes, no, that is racist,
like, and here's the other thing is, like, I've heard, and it ties into that. It's like, I've heard people be like, no, it's too politically correct. I should, like you said, I should just feel what I want to say is what I say. If I understand them as Orientals, or I understand them as Redskins or whatever, that's my freedom to say. It's like, yeah, okay, that's absolutely valid. What we're asking for is to treat this, because it is the same thing of when you meet someone and you're like, oh, hi, my name's Michael. It's, oh, hey, Michael, do you like to be called Mike, Michael, Mr. Blah, blah? You're being respectful, and you're asking how they like to be called. Like, if someone was like, hey, Michael, was like, hey, I just like Mike. If you would do that, you would say, oh, okay, hey, Mike. They're asking for respect, and this is an act of showing respect. How do you want to be called? I will call you that way.
Well, and think of this. Okay, so my name is not a very common name, and people always, like, even like if I'm on a phone call, they're like, oh, Ian, are you Irish? I'm like, yeah, actually I am. I'm part Irish.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't get upset at it, but it really, everything is perception. I guess that's the right word, like how people perceive you. So if you're out there using certain words that people find offensive, then they have this thought of you being like, and I'm not saying that it's right, but you got to be mindful for what you say. Be a decent human being. Don't just use certain language in a tone or a concept of being degrading, I guess. Yeah. Just like you said, oh, that guy's retarded. Like, why use that? Just say, oh, use some other word, whatever it could be, because there's actually people out there with a disability, and that isn't.
And it's also people who know those people with disabilities that hurt. Right. Like, you can have a brother, sister, or father, or something, or like relative. Like,
you never know.
Like, damn, that hurts, because like that person's not just a retard. That person's a real human to me. And I love that person. And when you hear retard, you start thinking about all the negative connotations that come with that disease.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I know we're thinking, oh, these crybaby liberals, they're just like, get over it, just tougher skin. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's so easy for maybe someone to say that doesn't have to worry about that. But like, man, if this person's really hurting inside, and that's adding an emotional reaction, then like, can you just have respect for this person that has to go through that every day, and just can we just not say, like, I know that seems silly because they're feeling like they're gonna cry, or they're feeling that their feelings are hurt, and that seems like a baby thing, but like, god damn it, dude, they have to live with this. They have to see someone they love go through something very hard every day. Just be respectful, like, regardless if they need tough skin or not.
Yeah, and who cares about, I don't even know where I was going to think of that thought, basically. But why does it matter? Why do you have to use certain terms and certain words? Yeah. Are you just trying to be mean? Or are you just trying to be rude?
I think so.
What's the point?
And I guess that goes to the other part of this is like, and there is a time, like, retard can be used very funny, but it's in a way that, like, South Park does it. Like, right. South Park makes fun of everyone.
And that's what I was thinking. They're brilliant at it.
That's
like,
okay.
Have no whole bars with them. They'll sit there and it doesn't matter. They'll even make fun of their own self.
Right.
They're Canadian, and look at what they rag on Canadians all day.
Yeah, it's when you target one thing,
right,
and it's not satirical. Is when it's a problem. And so I think that's another part of it, is like a lot of people who are like feeling this pressure to be PC feel like it's cringe, like, I can't make a joke, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, you can make a joke, but like, you have to be careful because people don't know you. Their first impression is that the only thing that you do is make fun of retarded people or make fun of black people. Like, they don't have the luxury of having 7 seasons of your jokes to watch and be like, oh, he makes fun of everyone, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't mean it. So yeah, I mean, you should be able to joke, but like, just understand your audience, right, at the same time.
What's funny is that I never have a pressure to be politically correct, because I guess in my life and in my mind, granted, yeah, I make fun of people and stuff like that, or I make fun of myself, my family members, we joke and have fun, but I just never have that feeling of, I need to be politically correct right now, just because I'm I'm not going to say I'm a good human being,
I'm an okay person.
Yeah, I'm not a complete asshole, but but I've had my tendencies of being an asshole, kind of. But I mean, it just, why do people have this thought that they have to be so PC? Because I don't experience that in my life.
Yeah.
Just because I guess I don't use that language, and I was raised to never use that language or a certain language that is hurtful for people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and I don't want to come off as like, an insensitive prick or something like that,
But I mean, we all do it. I mean, I've been like, dude, that retard, or what are you, retarded? Or like, I'll say, oh man, that's so gay. Like, I used to say it all the time, and that's just
that's actually two things that I used to say when I was younger. Like, that's so gay. Yeah. I mean, and think of that. Like, it's not just race or anything. It's your sexual origin or what you do in your life. But those were two things that I guess would say when I was younger, because I mean, think about that. In the 90s, that's what every kid said.
You would say, yeah.
Yeah, and I made it a point years and years ago to not use those two terms, because I was like, you know what, I don't think that's nice, so I don't use those. That's not even in my vocabulary.
Yeah, man. But you slip every so often, and like, and the important, like, and that brings me to the other, like, it's easy for us to sit and be like, this is why we want you to be more understanding and respectful. I don't even really like the damn term politically correct. I don't want somebody to be politically correct because it has such negative connotations. I just want you to be respectful and understanding of the other person, right?
Yeah.
But we, of those who are pushing for this, also have to be understanding and respectful of the time it takes to break those bad habits, right? Because I absolutely agree with the other side in the sense of, like, if I say one thing or had said one thing, my life shouldn't be ruined. And you're right.
Of course,
your life shouldn't be ruined.
No,
and you should feel free to make mistakes, as long as, like, you didn't mean, you know what I mean, or if you can understand that you're like, okay, that was a problem. I am trying to get better. It slipped. Like, we don't need to jump and kill someone for saying, you said black person to describe you now, or never gonna get a job again, right? So we just need to be understanding that takes time and progress. Like, we're not perfect, so there's just, man, both sides, dude. We can do this. They could figure it out. All right, that might actually be a two-parter because that was quite long.
Okay.
And it was very interesting for me. Anyway, I don't know about the tens of millions who watch this show.
Okay, Baldy. Okay. I'm gonna start just using...
whatever, Baldy. So let's go on to Snap. I think you have your topic, don't you?
Yeah. What I was gonna ask is, what is a I guess what is the biggest achievement that you had before you turned 10 years old? I mean, we've all had achievements throughout our lives, but like as a little kid, what was a huge achievement and like that you felt like very proud about and that you did, you know?
Yeah.
The one that comes to my mind is actually Rocco was part of this. It was the first year I ever played football and we went undefeated. And we actually,
cool.
yeah, we played in like, you know, the little Super Bowl and everything. We won that, and we got invited to back then. Right now, it's the Raymond James Stadium, but where the Tampa
Raymond
Bay
James,
Buccaneers
I
play.
have accounts with them.
Yeah, it's Raymond James Stadium, just like Gillette Stadium and stuff like that. So
Cool.
they originally it was called Houlihan Stadium. That's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played. That was I don't know if it would be the original stadium. I'm not quite sure if it was the original, but that's what was in the 90s and for a long time. So we got invited to go play there. And I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like, I'm going to go play football in an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
So it was just like a huge achievement, and I felt so proud. Our coaches and everyone, they got us gym bags with our name and number on it and stuff, and I was just like,
Holy shit, dude.
shit, yeah. It was a huge achievement, and actually Rocco was on the team at that time too.
It was you and Rocco.
Oh, on the football team.
Yeah.
So he was a part of it.
So you
And
guys played. Did you win?
We actually lost, and we got our asses handed to us. So think about that emotion. I mean, it's the first. Actually, it was the second team sport I ever played. So I played Little League before that. The hell is that?
Someone in your house?
I don't know.
We're gonna let Ian either die or come back alive. We'll see. He's talking about the greatest achievements. I'm trying to think of my greatest achievement. First of all, I don't know if I'm gonna even beat the fact that they were able to go to play at an actual NFL stadium. I played sports when I was a kid, and man, I was terrible at them. I played basketball for a while. My biggest achievement playing basketball was actually getting one bucket. That was it. That's all I got. I just didn't put the time needed to practice. Playing football, no big achievement there. Sports-wise, I can't really. You okay? What happened?
My wife left our dog in the living room, and he tore it all apart.
Oh.
And knocked over a table with a piece of glass.
Do you need to clean that up?
Yeah, I will when we're done.
Okay. So I was just talking about how sports achievements are not in my forte.
Right.
I don't. Man, my biggest achievement. Shit, man. I guess when I was
Spelling
a kid.
bee?
You said before you were 10?
Yeah, like
Okay.
I was just I chose
Are
10.
you 7th grade when you're 10?
Ooh, so I always have to start by this. You start elementary school when you're 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Like 5, 6.
Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3rd grade?
3rd grade. Holy shit! Then yeah, that's when I started football. Was 3rd grade. So that was just like right.
I mean, I didn't do anything. Yeah,
Really?
I mean,
Look it up at this. Okay, 13. That's 6th grade.
11, 12, still nothing. I mean, what? I was playing video games.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Yeah, man.
What about before 18? Okay, what was a good achievement?
Well, okay, so 7th grade.
So before you
7th grade,
graduated high school.
I did great. I mean, I must have just been holding it and blew up in 7th grade because I made my first game ever, which is really cool.
Shit.
Based off a book called Animal Farm. If you ever read Animal Farm, it's a very good book.
Wait, is that?
About talking animals and trying to overthrow their human.
And they do, and then the pigs become. Yeah, I remember that book.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking great book. Made a board game about it. It's very
Nice.
cool. And then that same year, I wrote I wrote my own fan fiction for a project, same class as the board game, about the next generation of Greek gods, because the lore says that the Titans were overthrown by the Olympians, and Zeus killed his father, and they said that the curse would continue, and that Zeus would die from his son, and that's why you have this Hercules kind of thing and all that stuff. I wrote a story about this. So again, I was so into wrestling. I wrote a story about the next generation was called the Degenerates.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like Titans, Olympians, and Degenerates, and I think like Claytonius Maximus or something dumb like
Oh,
that.
nice.
I was a seventh grader, remember? He was like the god of energy, and then there was different gods of different like powers. I forget them all, but they eventually used and helped other gods. Like I think, oh man, the one god that like could make armor and stuff. He made the necklace of energy, so he can harness energy. And they like fought the Olympians, and the final battle was like Zeus versus my character, and he was like siphoning all the lightning bolts into the necklace that was made by Hephaestus, I think, and he can like shoot them back. And so it was a short story about the rise of the degenerates and the overthrowing of the Olympians.
Insanely in depth.
Yeah, I went nuts with it, and it got published in one of those Scholastic
Oh shit.
books. Yeah,
That's a pretty big achievement.
yeah.
Yeah, you were just harnessing it.
Yeah, dude. Because when I was a kid, I made stories up, I drew characters, and that's what I did. And so that was really fun for me to like get that kind of story out. Because that would like basically I wrote a week's worth of playing with my toys at night. Like I would just play and then revise a story, play and revise a story, and then and then next week I just make a different story, maybe be Batman, or like I made like a ton of different and this was just one thing that I was really passionate about because at the time we were learning about the Greek culture and stuff like that in English class. So
that really like shaped you if you think about it, because today your job is pretty much doing that.
yeah, and I think that's why I've gravitated towards it, and why I think I'm so like fulfilled creatively when I look at that. I'm making games and I'm giving stories and content through those games. So yeah, I mean that's for sure. I almost thought I was gonna write for cartoons, but here's the thing: like I'm creating characters and writing stories in my head, but I never became a really good creative writer. I took creative writing in high school and college, but my grammar was really terrible. I never crafted that skill. I think if I ever did, it might be better. Maybe that's something I'll look for down the line.
Yeah.
But I feel like games are a hard medium to get something like that story across, because it takes nowadays a city to build one game. So there's a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts, and your one idea is going to get morphed and changed and replaced by 20, 50, 100 other people, because they're all going to touch it at some point and put their spin on it. And so that's an art form in itself, is coming up and adding with ideas that are going to get changed and morphed, versus me sitting in a vacuum creating an idea, writing a book or writing a comic book or you know what I mean, or being I could have went into comics potentially and wrote for Marvel, wrote for DC, and like, you're the Spider-Man dude, write a story about Spider-Man. I get the privilege of not having, like, I get an editor, sure, but I don't have 50 other people giving feedback and changing it and and then handing it off and then them doing something. You know what I mean? So that has always been in the back of my head. If that was a different path, would I have taken it?
Okay.
So yeah, that is an achievement of mine. I cannot think of anything other. I was just beating Super Mario Brothers, beating Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
I created my own wrestling group, and I wrote the storyline for that. So like we had about like 10 maybe people, and we wrestled for like a whole year, and we fake wrestle, and we made our own belts, and like I had storylines, and I was like the driving force behind that, and we filmed some of it.
That's awesome.
But like,
do you still have some of the film?
yeah, I do. I have.
Oh my God!
I have a highlight reel of my different adventures wrestling.
What was your name?
Clay Coolidge. Clay Ice Coolidge. My finisher was a combination of finishers. I would super kick someone into the corner, and because a super kick usually knocks you on your ass.
Right.
But I didn't want you to be on your ass, so I would super kick you into the corner, so you'd hit the corner and then like stumble forward. And as you were stumbling forward, I diamond cuttered you. It was called an icebreaker.
Oh, nice.
So I'd fucking knock your chin and then bam,
Boom.
diamond cutter, and I done. You're done. You're done. I had a yeah. So my submission finisher was called the Crown of Thorns, and I would it'd roll you over or whatever, and it was a weird like Boston Crab kind of deal, like where
Yeah.
so like your arms would get pulled back and your head would go forward, and
Uh-huh.
so as you pull, you're like making it hurt worse. It was really hard to get out of. Um, Man, what else? I had an elbow drop. I did a lot of stuff. It was fun. It was really cool. We had a whole like move set. I used to be so into wrestling.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely some achievements right there.
Guess.
You created a little, I guess I wouldn't say community, but like your own wrestling league. I mean,
Yeah.
and how many people did you have in it?
Like about 10.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It was all the
That's
kids
a-
in the neighborhood, and me and my friend Kelly and my friend Matt, we riled up everyone. We're like,
Question.
hey, yeah,
Kelly, guy or girl?
girl.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we rounded up everyone, and we were just like, dude, this is what we're doing. We had plenty of girls and plenty of, like, it was like half and half practically.
Yeah.
And we had different like league, championship league. It was fun. And then I moved that storyline creativity to like WrestleMania 2000 or No Mercy, and I had a giant storyline that I created for about 2 years, and I would just play, and then I did this like dynamic changing thing where if people got like bloodied, because that was a thing that could happen, I would put them in the hospital, so they would be pulled out of the storyline for like a week or two, and then I was just like naturally playing and piecing people together to fight for titles, and I had my own storyline that my personal character was going to do that I was playing, and it was fun.
Did you make yourself the champion?
Yeah, and then I also ripped the belt from me too. I
Oh,
had the
nice.
storyline. It's so dumb. I had the storyline where I was Clay Ice Coolidge, and I had the title, and then I was fighting in like an Iron Man match, and then like someone came out and like just destroyed me, so I got hospitalized for like a year. But what happened is I came back after like a month, but I had like bleached black hair, and I was really mean because I became a heel or something from this like accident, right? And it was like people were calling him Black Ice instead of Ice. So dumb. And so he was just a dick, and I had my own like Degeneration X, but like he systematically like just beat the shit out of like the people in that group and like brought in his own group.
Yeah.
And so like the idea is like, what the hell happened to this guy? Why he got brain damage? He became such a dick. And a year later, as I was gonna win the title, I came back, and so the twist was like this was like an evil twin or like someone impostering as me, and so I came back from the accident, and we started fighting. And it was like, what? There's two of them! Oh my god!
That's
and so then
awesome.
there was like a year-long battle between him and I. And yeah, I had some fun.
I want to see a
like,
highlight reel. That's what I want to see.
yeah, I'll show you the highlight reel. It's got some like great angsty emo music in the background. It's fucking
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
Was it like a handheld camera too, like all
Oh
shaky?
yeah. Oh yeah, and it's got like the VHS tracking issue and all that stuff.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny. Yeah. That's pretty.
Well, that's good. That's some achievements there.
I think so. I guess. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go on to our last topic.
Okay.
Be pretty quick. We'll do the possible Nintendo Switch games that could be coming out. IGN did an article. What's Nintendo's partners mean for Switch games? So Nintendo Switch coming out March 2017. What they know about the partners could potentially tell you what games are going to come out for the Switch and what launch games could be for the Switch.
Let me guess. Zelda.
Right, first party are a given.
Yeah.
But what do their third party tell us, right?
Ooh,
So they start
yeah.
with Activision, right? What's possible for a Switch? And what this article did for me was what I'm hoping it does for you and some other people. It's just get you excited, get you pumped, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
if you look at like, let's just start out, right? And we'll go bit by bit. We'll do this fairly quickly. Activision.
Okay.
Right, so what's possible for Activision being partnered with the Nintendo Switch? Well, they could do Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It was released for the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC, so it's possible it could port into a port could be in the works. Likewise, Skylanders Imagination was released just last month for current and last-gen consoles, so it could potentially be headed to the Switch. Unlikely, Destiny may not be able to find a home on Nintendo's new console since its always online requirement would be difficult
Yeah.
to sustain while on the move. The other thing to note about Destiny is that Destiny 2 is not going to be for last-gen. So probably not going to get that, which is a bummer because I would love to play it. But like, if you can play Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on the Switch, and maybe did Nintendo Wii U even have any Activision games like Call of Duty?
Maybe. I mean, that'd be difficult though. I would have to look. I would really have to look. But
So it had Black Ops 2. but
Right.
it did not
I
have
knew.
Black Ops 3.
Okay. Now, I was going to let you know that last night I was out with some friends, and one of the very funny things happened. So my buddy's looking up at the TV at the restaurant we're at, and he sees the Infinite Warfare trailer come on, and he's just like, Call of Duty Intimate Warfare. I'm like, what the hell? When he said it out loud, I just started dying laughing. I'm like, oh, what? You're in the trenches and you look over at your buddy, like, I don't think we're going to get out of this, man.
Let's just do it. That'd be great. Intimate Warfare. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. Arc System Works, possible. Dragon Ball
Okay.
Z Extreme Budoden appeared on 3DS, which means it's not a stretch to imagine this or future Dragon Ball games on Nintendo's new system. I played Nintendo. Dragon Ball Z. This should be a topic. But Dragon Ball Z has just a fundamental story problem that makes it really hard for me to get invested in any of their games or their future content. I think it could be a lot better. They just need to pull some strings a little bit.
What problem is it?
Well, we can go into the next topic about this, but it's
Just
they don't break.
touch on it.
Just their formula is pigeonhole them into one type of story over and over again. It is Goku and a villain, and it is a race between. It's just what new level will Goku get to beat
fight
him?
this, yeah.
It's never like, oh, we have to band together because it's an army and there's people dying and we have to be strategic and it's like a new twist. Or there is a mysterious serial killer. Who is it? They're killing off people. Like it's never a different story or different theme wrapped around or different even way to conflict or battle. It's
Right.
always, I just have to reach another level and I'll beat the guy.
Yeah.
And so when you play a video
to the
game,
next world.
right, and the story building around it is terrible too. When you play a video game, you're always stuck replaying the linear Dragon Ball Z storyline. They're always like, create your own guy, and it's like, okay, I create my own guy, but it's like, what's his backstory? The backstory is so like, it's Goku and Vegeta. They're the only Saiyans left.
Mm-hmm.
There's no expanded universe for you to ever. Anyway, we're digressing. This is what the topic would be about.
Right. No, I know. I just kind of wanted to know just what you thought was. Okay, so that is another one that could come out. Not a big fan of those games either.
Yeah,
honestly,
and that's why.
I'm not. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's the good shit.
yeah. Atlas can do Persona. It's Persona's been on the 3DS, so it's very likely that it will be on the Switch. That is a game I would play. I've heard really great things. If you like old school JRPGs, that would be a game to play because it's
Atlas?
A really
I've
good,
never
sorry,
heard
no,
of it.
Persona.
Persona.
Yeah.
Oh.
Atlas makes them.
Okay.
Bandai Namco, possible. Recent Bandai Namco releases like Naruto and Tekken 7, Tales of Berseria, Necropolis, and One Piece Burning Blood have been multi-platform releases, so they could be on the Switch. There was My Hero Academia Battle for All appeared on the 3DS, so that could be a possibility. I don't know if we would get Dark Souls, but gosh dang, if I could play Dark Souls on a Switch, that'd be great.
That would be pretty cool.
Dark Souls on the go, fucking got me hooked.
Yeah.
Bethesda, they declined to comment on official confirmed release, but Skyrim was featured on the Nintendo Switch launch trailer. This is another game I'd be really excited to play on the go. What's possible is Doom and Fallout 4 could also be possibilities to play.
That would be huge.
Elder Scrolls Elder Scrolls Legends and Prey on the Switch could be on the Switch as late as 2017. Capcom, Monster Hunters and Ace Attorney were also Nintendo exclusives, so they could definitely find their way there. Ghost Trick and Mega Man Legacy Collection have also appeared on Nintendo platforms.
Did you just finish when you heard Mega Man?
Mega Man just has been good in a while, so no, unfortunately, it's been blue-balled too many times for me to even get a stiffy. So while Street Fighter franchise has appeared on Nintendo platforms before, the new games have been PS exclusive, so it's an unlikely possibility we'll ever see a Street Fighter on Nintendo Switch unless they make their own.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I would love to play a Street Fighter. Codemasters, you got the Dirt, Grid, and F1 series. They've been multi-platform. It could be on the Switch. Dina, they're working on Nintendo Miitomo and Super Mario Run. It's possible they could be on the Switch. There's upcoming Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem mobile titles that could find their way on there. EA, they support current gen consoles, so there's no reason to think that the mega publisher wouldn't make a Madden, a FIFA, Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, Star Wars Battlefront on Switch. Could you imagine playing Star Wars Battlefront on the go, playing a Madden on the go? That is awesome. I would love to play something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Epic Games, Switch is going to Switch is going to support Unreal 4, so you could potentially see games from there. They say unlikely is the Paragon is for PC, and it's recently been ported to PS4.
Yeah, I
So
played Paragon, and it's great.
So we'd have to wait a little bit if it gets to the Xbox One or Switch, but the fact that they haven't done that already seems pretty unlikely that it will go on the Switch. But you never know.
Yeah.
From Software. Oh, so never mind. Namco Bandai, was the publisher for Dark Souls, but From Software was the developer. So From Software may want Dark Souls games to reach a new market, especially with Nintendo, which historically sells well in From's native Japan. So From Software is a developer in Japan. It would make sense if they would like to see it on their Nintendo console. Bloodborne was never developed or published in partnership. Was developed and published in partnership with Sony, so it didn't appear on Microsoft or Nintendo consoles, which makes sense why it didn't. However, if somewhere in that contract was like after X amount of time they could open it up to other platforms, that would be an insane selling grab if people could buy the Nintendo Switch and a launch title was Bloodborne.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great game, but honestly, Dark Souls, all those were better, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've heard people say...
Yeah, people say it the other way, but I don't know. The concept was kind of cool, but I just didn't like...
You're a Souls guy, not a Bloodborne guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Let's see. Frostbite. That is, the Trine 3, and there's some other games. It's basically the Trine games, but they're on PC consoles. They could port to Switch. Game Trust, Insomniac's game Song of the Deep seems like a natural fit for the Switch, and is published by GameStop's new publishing initiative called Game Trust, which I do not support. Grasshopper Manufacturer, a new remastered version of the Silver Case recently came to PC and is headed to the PlayStation 4 next year.
What is that? I'm sorry. Grasshopper?
I'm not familiar with them either. Gung Ho, they do Puzzles of Dragon Z and Super Mario Brothers Edition. It could be a dual pack on it was a dual pack on 3DS, so it could be going to it's likely that they'll go to Switch port.
Is Rockstar Games on there?
I think we're getting to that, yeah.
Okay.
Anity creates, so Mighty Number 9's multi-platform, Azure Striker and Gunvolt, Azure Striker Gunvolt 2 was released on the 3DS, so it's very likely they'll go to the Switch. Dead or Alive 5 could eventually go on the Switch. Konami, they're getting out of the game business, but it's very possible that Metal Gear Solid 5 can make its way. They're known for making, like, once a Metal Gear game comes out,
games.
it's a fucking amazing game, and they're known for making it multi-platform release and having multiple releases after its initial. So we can very much see it bundled, or like, I wouldn't put it past them to be like, get all Metal Gear 1 through 5, like packaged and play them all. I mean, I would probably buy that, and I would definitely play it on the Switch. So Level 5, they make a lot of games for the 3DS, so that's another publisher. Let's see, I'm not familiar with them. Maximum Games, not incredibly familiar. NIS, another one these are more 3DS stuff, so it's very safe to say that it will go the way of the Switch. Platinum Games, it's like second party. They do Bayonetta 2, Star Fox Zero, Star Fox Guard, Wonderful 101, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Korra. All these games probably going to go to the Switch. Rebellion makes Sniper Elite 4. They'll probably find their way onto the Switch. Sega has confirmed that they're going to make games for the Switch, so we'll probably see the new Sonic games, which have been getting better. They've been notoriously bad for quite some time.
Well, think about that, though. Isn't it so crazy that Sega and Nintendo used to be like huge rivals, and now they're making products for them?
A lot of people predict that if the Switch does not do well, Nintendo will be in the same boat as Sega, making games for other platforms. It'd be so weird to play an Xbox One Super Mario game.
That would be insanely weird.
Yeah.
But that makes sense.
That's
I mean,
where they would go to.
It happens, yeah.
Let's see.
And then eventually it happened to Xbox, and then we'll just start playing Xbox games on PlayStation.
Well, Xbox has very few first parties, so I suppose you could play Halo, but yeah. Let's see. They confirmed that Dragon Quest 11 will be on the Nintendo Switch.
I like Dragon Quest games. Those are good games.
It's quite possible that we'll see Final Fantasy 15, Deus Ex, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Dragon Quest Builders, a lot of those things to come to
Nice.
the Switch as well. Kingdom Hearts 3 is currently slated for PS4 and Xbox One. It could be in the Switch. It'd be really nice to see the Final Fantasy series come back to Nintendo since that's where they started. Payday 2 is multi-platform, could find its way. Take-Two Interactive, they declined to comment and to confirm if NBA 2K17 would release for the Nintendo Switch, but it was, and it did appear on the Nintendo Switch trailer. Take-Two and 2K games like BioShock, Grand Theft Auto 5, Mafia 3, and Battleborn came out on multi-platforms, so it could find its way to Nintendo Switch.
Well, I'm going to say about 2K stuff. They should definitely do it because Madden is going to be out there. All those are going to be out there. So if you want to compete with them, you better get your ass on that platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, my little son is walking up to me saying, "Hey, dude, we're almost done, buddy." So Red Dead Redemption 2 was also another potential
Rockstar.
one. Yeah. So which would be cool. And then
That's what I wanted to know if Red Dead was going to be on.
And then Telltale Games.
Okay.
Like Walking Dead, I've heard the new Batman one is amazing. I really want to play that. Could be find its way on Switch. That game, those types of games sound so perfect for something like the Switch. Like, you have a couple minutes, hop on your Switch, play a Telltale like chapter or something. It would be really good. THQ Nordic, which is not the original THQ, it's a different company that took the THQ name for simply the name alone. Could potentially have some games. TT Games has the Lego series. That would be another great game.
Isn't THQ like ATV and stuff like that? Or
Man, no. THQ is they went bankrupt and they sold all of their licenses to various different companies. So it's very unclear to me. I know that they have articles on the internet, but I don't know which ones went where and who owns what. But Ubisoft said that they will have Just Dance 2017 will appear on Nintendo Switch.
Oh my god!
With that could include Watch Dogs 2, Ghost Recon, Rayman Legends, which is a shoe-in probably, Assassin's Creed, stuff like that could potentially be on there, and it'd be really great. And then you have WB, and WB could find its way as well onto, which has a bunch of more of the Lego games, Arkham games, Lord of the Rings games. Like, they could find their way on the Switch too. So
cool.
Switch,
I like that list.
Yeah, it's a lot of potential games, which I think already, if half of them are going to be on there, that would be much more than what the Wii U has had. So that would be very exciting to play.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm excited for it. So
me too. Me 3.
Me
All
4.
Right. So yeah, that wraps it up. That's been another episode of the Everything and Nothing Show. We really appreciate you tuning in and listening. Another thing that we appreciate a lot is if you can help support us with as little as $1. If you go on to patreon.com/MaelstromGamers, you can give us that $1 once, reoccurring, and forget about it as much or as little as you want. It's completely up to you. You get a reward for each different price point, and it super helpful for us to put the money back into our show. If you don't have money, I understand. There's free ways to support us too. You can just comment, like, subscribe, and share our things. Get the word out. We want to get better and hear your comments and interact with you guys. We're trying to build a community here about the things that we like, about the things that we talk about. And if you like that, you can check us out streaming games as well. Battlefield 1 and League of Legends, as well Paragon, some other games too. Our handles are in below. Friend us. Stop playing with yourself. Play with us. League of Legends, all these games are team-based, so we need a team. Come join us. Look, we're not the best, but we're certainly not the worst. We are entertaining. Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah,
so come join us. Come play with us. We'll have another show for you next week. In the meantime, keep thinking about everything and nothing. It's been an honor to entertain you. Peace.
Peace. Adios.
Cheers.